Welcome back to the Erin Coupe podcast. Today, we're diving into a topic that most high achievers have experienced at some point in their careers and certainly in their lives. The uncomfortable reality that oftentimes your success can trigger other people. And some people may even secretly hope that you fail. It is a tough pill to swallow, and it's also a hard truth. Success doesn't just come with admiration and recognition and applause. It can often bring silent resentment, passive aggressive behaviors, and even outright sabotage from people who once were your supporters. So, what I want to unpack, because I've experienced this a lot of times in my life, I want to unpack why people are triggered by your success, how to recognize when someone does secretly want you to fail, and how to rise above it and just stay focused on your goals and your path. This episode is for you if you've ever felt the tension after a big win, something that was a big achievement that you really put in a lot of effort for, if you've sensed envy from colleagues or friends or even family members, or if you've experienced subtle pushback when you started to really step into your power and develop and evolve in ways that you were really happy about. So let's start first with why people get triggered by success. Because rarely is it actually about you and your success. It is about them. That is huge. I'm going to say that again. Rarely is it about you. It is about them. Success acts as a mirror, as do a lot of things in our lives. I mean, oftentimes the external is actually reflecting the internal. So your external world is reflecting what's happening within you and your own being. When you elevate, when you have a sense of accomplishment and achievement, and you're happy or excited about that, it often forces other people to confront their own fears and insecurities and unfulfilled potential. Instead of celebrating your growth, they feel threatened by it. Why? Why does this happen? Because their insecurities are then in the light. They are brought to the surface for them to see. And that is just a message. It's data that they can use to then look at themselves and heal insecurities or transform those into action to get them closer to their goals. But instead, oftentimes, this is very unconscious behavior that happens, and people don't realize that them being triggered by someone else's success is because they actually know deep down that they too could have that recognition and that happiness and feel that way, but they're not making it happen. I've seen this play out in corporate settings many times. A colleague gets promoted, and instead of congratulations from some people, there's tension, or even like a sly congratulations where someone might say it, but you can tell they really don't mean it. That's the worst. Why are people like that? It's because it makes them question, why not me in that corporate setting? Why not me who got the promotion? Why am I not the one getting the raise? Why do I not get to have that role or lead that team or have the better projects or the better clients? Instead of reflecting on themselves, they're just projecting what they want onto you and almost making it your problem that they don't have it. I think one of the things that is really evident when it comes to people being triggered by success is that people often fear being left behind. They feel left out or like they don't belong. And success can often disrupt relationship dynamics. If you've always been on the same level as a friend or a family member or a coworker, and suddenly you're the one who starts to achieve more, you're the one who maybe feels more comfortable in their own skin, maybe you're the one who does feel more fulfillment in their lives, it will shift relationship dynamics between you and another person. Not everyone knows how to handle that. If people are self-aware and have done the inner work and they're evolved, they will know how to handle that and they will be truly happy for you. But think about the entrepreneur who starts making money and whose business becomes a success. I know I'm in this boat. There are friends who once cheered for them who then become almost passive aggressive. They might say things like, "It must be nice." This is the worst statement. I wrote an article about this years ago. It is awful. It is so condescending and just downright nasty. It reminds me of a chat I had with a friend in the learning and development space recently, and we were kind of chit-chatting about how awful it must be nice is, and she even brought up the words at least. Anyone who starts a sentence with at least is showing that they have no empathy for what it is you just shared. So let's realize that it must be nice is not a compliment. It is far from it. And that is really that person who says it must be nice, just masking their own discomfort as humor or as something that they're just being nonchalant about, even though they're not. Our society has really glorified the underdog, but resented the winner for as long as we can recall. I mean, people, they love a comeback story. Hello, I'm recording this just after the Super Bowl. So Chiefs and Eagles, Chiefs didn't get it for a third time. Eagles did. I don't know about you, but I know I did want the Eagles to win. So they also happen to be my husband Craig's favorite team. So that helps. But people will cheer for the person who is struggling to make it. But once you succeed, that narrative will quickly shift. Now you're lucky and you're privileged and you get those kinds of passive aggressive comments from people or those sly congrats that are not really genuine. Because people often assume that things are easy for you, even if they weren't. People are never looking to learn where you've been, how you've become who you are, how you've developed yourself, how much work you've put in to get to where you are. They judge the book by its cover. I mean, this is a human tendency every single time. When you're down, they'll tell you to get up and keep going. And when you're up, and especially when you're close to the top of one of the many mountains that you'll climb in your life, there is never just one, they'll secretly wish for you to fall down. And this isn't everybody in your life, but take stock because it's definitely there. And it's those relationships where those dynamics and narratives have shifted that actually drain your energy, that really are harmful to you over time rather than helpful to you over time. You ever notice how the moment someone makes it big, people will start digging for reasons to discredit them? They had connections. It's pure luck. Oh, it must be nice to have that raw talent. I don't like him. I don't like her. They find reasons to spew shade and hatred. I mean, look at also like how people treated Tom Brady, for so long. He's the GOAT and people were just so jealous of him that they just wanted to bring him down in every way, shape, and form. And if you look at his career, I mean, the things that he achieved were incredible for where he first entered the NFL to where he left it. And it's a way when people put others down like that, it's a way of making their success more palatable for those who feel, left behind, bringing others down and exuding that bad, energy, that negative energy or bad juju is never an answer to get to where you want to be. In fact, I believe it just works against you. Be conscious of what wishes you're putting out there, and even more so of the words that you use. Everything carries energy, and you have to be ready to handle all of that when it comes back at you, because it will. So, understanding that sometimes people are going to secretly want you to fail, it's just a matter of getting to this point where you can recognize what friends, colleagues, and family members actually do root for you and support you. These are the people who you want to hold near and dear. The relationships with substance and meaning, and where you feel uplifted and where you feel like you gain energy, you have more energy after a conversation with those people. Be really conscious of where you're investing your resources, your energy, your time, your attention. These are your currency. These are the things that matter. And being very conscious of where you're giving that away is crucial to you actually achieving the success you're after. Not everyone will openly root against you. Don't get me wrong. This is not everybody. But when the signs are there, they're there. You have to see them. Don't ignore them. So here are some thoughts on how you spot them. This doesn't mean these are actions you're taking. Just start to notice these things. Is there someone who very enthusiastically may celebrate you, but others may just kind of feel very lukewarm as far as the congratulations they give you? So if it is that promotion, or it is that you're starting a business, or that you're excited about something that one of your kids achieved, see what feels very lukewarm and almost disingenuous, and what feels truly enthusiastic and optimistic and supportive. Real supporters are happy for you, and others are fake, and their words will lack substance. Sometimes it may be, if you share a big win, someone may say, wow, I never expected that from you. Just pay attention to where the words are not compliments. They might not be outright, derogatory and mean, but certainly not complimentary. These are those backhand comments and passive aggressive comments that I was talking about earlier. When people secretly want you to fail, they will disguise it as joking or maybe keeping you humble. Let's say you land a dream client and a coworker says, oh, I guess they'll hire anybody these days. Like, that is envy speaking. I know that I've had several situations like that. I know so many people in my life that have. And again, those are things that are just demeaning and demoralizing without being outright mean. So just noticing where those words really don't feel good to you. I know in my career sometimes, actually very recently, people say things to me after my husband Craig joined the business last year. And they'd say things like, oh, wow, I could never work with my spouse. How is that going? And it's just so funny because it's like, it's such a put down. And also I can tell that they're secretly like jealous or envious of the fact that my husband and I can work together, and we're very excited to do that. Don't get me wrong, like, everything is not rainbows and unicorns, and we didn't have the expectation that it would all go smoothly. But it's also really exciting for us that we get to create together, and we love the fact that we're learning and growing and work together too. So just because someone can't see themselves doing what you're doing does not give them carte blanche to put it down. I'd also say that, some people just can't handle giving credit where it's due, and they'll downplay your efforts, implying that it was luck or timing, not skill or hard work. If someone says, oh, you had a lot of support, like that must have really been helpful, or they try to turn the lens and attention on them by saying things like, oh, like, I've got such a big house, so there's never a way that I could start my own business. I have to keep earning my big salary. Just notice how they subtly discredit your effort and make it about them instead of just acknowledging you for where you've gotten yourself. I know this happened to me when I started my company in, February 2020. So, 5 years ago now, when people didn't notice or they couldn't see, of course, how I sacrificed time with my family, how I changed numerous bad habits and draining habits for the better, how I made so many positive mindset shifts and emotional shifts to heal myself, how I modified spending habits for several years prior to launching this company. I mean, I was very intentional and thoughtful about how I went about this. It didn't just happen overnight. So the last thing I'd say is that just look at where people may be very undermining. They might undermine and discourage the effort that you put in. They might purposely plant doubt or question your decisions under the guise of maybe trying to be helpful. Things like, are you sure you want to take that risk? Or, wow, that sounds risky. What if it doesn't work out? That is not always true concern. A lot of times it's their own doubt masked as advice. So I'm sad to say that sometimes I used to do this in my career. And when people were going to do things that I thought were really cool and I felt envious of that, I would use those kinds of comments to try to seem like I was giving advice. In reality, it wasn't. It was secret jealousy. And this is something that human beings do. So just notice that. So how do we handle all of this when we know that someone isn't really rooting for us? In fact, they may be rooting for us to fail. What do you do in those situations? Number one, do not dim your light. The worst thing you can do is shrink yourself to make others comfortable. You didn't work this hard to stay small. Don't let anybody hinder your growth. Your success is yours to own and for no one else to get their paws on. I know I used to dumb myself down so much around my own family because I could sense their disregard for the effort it took for me to get to where I was. And a lot of times it was almost like they thought that I was too good for them, or they thought I acted that way, even worse. It wasn't me giving off that vibe. It was that it made them uncomfortable to learn about my successes, to see me going after my dreams. It actually made them really uncomfortable, but that was not my problem to fix. Which leads me to the fact that you have to set boundaries with negative energy. You do not have to cut people off entirely, but you can be mindful of how much access you give to those people that drain you. If a friend or a family member is constantly negative about what you're focusing on or your goals or your success and achievements, just start limiting what you share. Sometimes it's better left unsaid. You do not need validation from those who secretly hope you fail. Surround yourself with people that you genuinely feel uplifted by. The right circle will not feel threatened by your success. They will be inspired by it. All the while, just stay humble and yet unapologetic. And, people will truly find inspiration in what you've achieved. Your confidence and your sense of self emanate from you. And ultimately, you attract the people to you who are meant for your growth and your evolution as a soul on this planet. You never, ever have to apologize for your success. Just don't let your ego get arrogant about it. The next time someone tries to downplay your success, just simply say, thanks. I received that. I worked really hard for this and I'm very proud of it. And that's it. Just own it. If you look at highly successful people or the happiest people you know, they don't waste time defending themselves. They focus on what's next. They focus on their own dreams. Overall, the best way to handle secret doubters is to keep winning, keep growing, and keep shining. Be the brightest light in the room. The brighter you are, the more shadows you cast, and that will help others see themselves and what they want more clearly, even if it's painful for them. So that's my challenge for you today. Start to notice who claps when you win, who is rooting for you, and does it feel genuine? Pay attention to the energy people bring into your life. And most importantly, never let someone else's insecurities dim your drive and ambition. Your success is yours. You earned it. You deserve it. And the people who truly support you will never be threatened by it. Speaking of success, I am super excited that my book will be published in early September 2025. And I have recently started sharing a lot of personal snippets about the entire process of committing to this project, selecting the publisher, hiring an editor, and I'm excited to take you on that journey with me. So if you would like to sign up for my newsletter and get these snippets about this journey, go to my website, erincoupe.com, and sign up, join my community. While you're there, I always love to hear your thoughts and I really appreciate your messages. So drop me a message on my website or email me or reach out on LinkedIn or Instagram and just give me your high-level thoughts and stories about this episode. If this episode resonated with you, share it with someone that needs to hear it and who you know would really appreciate these messages. And if you choose to leave a review, rating, or a comment, it means a lot to me. And it helps my podcast reach so many more listeners. So thank you for being here, and we'll be back soon. Remember, the meaning you seek, the answers you yearn for, they often lie within. I encourage you to follow me at erincoupe.com or AuthenticallyEC on Instagram. Subscribe now so you don't miss a step of our journey together. Until next time, manifest great things.